So thank you very much. Sorry for the late, but I am still in vacation and it's a bit hard. It's a critical place. I'm in the south of Italy on mountains, and you know, the line is not the best. It's not like in the university. So so I will discuss something that is about major initiative of Federico II University have committed in the last 4 or 5 years around the digital society framework, if I can say, and the innovation of education and didactics in our university. I'll start from this quote of Charles Darwin, and we will discover at the end why this is our quote of start. It's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent. It's the one that is most adaptable to change. And I would like to start from one personal reflection that is about my personal journey, if I can say. That is, I started as an architect, then I got a PhD in industrial design, but in the last 5 years, I was involved in a lot of work around teaching and learning. And my effort is to move from fluency to empathy and abstraction process, either in mentors, in teachers, that also, this is my mission in working with students. And I started from studying in my PhD interactivity in design. What I can say, and what I would like to show is how to apply these principles around our domain that is for sure a new, if I can say, collaborative space, that is the way in which we design the learning activities. This is my experience in the last 5 years. I worked for the founding of a new Master of Science in Design for the Built Environment. Then I worked in the first team for the Apple Developer Academy. It's a special initiative of Federico II in partnership with Apple. Then I worked for this incubator for developers that work for social impact. And then we put it in place also an Apple Foundation program dedicated to cultural heritage issues. In 2019, I was one of the founders of this bachelor course in community design. And then with Federico project, we started this work of innovative didactics also for our young researchers and teachers. And then Aurora Alliance. What would be the future? We will see. So I will discuss these 3 main aspects of our, which is the work of our university around the understanding of a new way to intend the education in order to optimize and broaden the impact from social and also entrepreneurship point of view. So how we can found ethically our university and how we can develop skills useful to a progressive transformation of the world, to bridge the gap and the extent, the impact of the level of our territories and also at global level. And so Federico project, what is Federico project is a project of a lot of different initiatives around the formation, the experience, the didactics, the evolution and of our ability and skills to reflect and to innovate competencies and the way in which we organize our work. And inside Federico project, we had a special project that is Federico Lab, that is dedicated to mobilize the new technologies, focus on a student-centered approach, and how we can imagine a journey for our students that will be customized on their learning objectives and their learning goals. Federico project, anyway, is itself a network that connects the academy ecosystem that we'll see later, the synapse that is the center for disabilities for these students, the service learning service of the University Federico II, distributed project as Bio Beauty, for example, that show that work on dissemination of concept of science for a broad public, and then Federica MOOC, that is the way for blended and online education process. And it was devoted essentially inside a network, an Italian network, where we have a much more advanced experiences, essentially in the University of Bologna and of Padua, but also in another network that work on the innovation of didactics at Italian level. Inside this project, with a series of webinars, of collaborative activities, I was the designer of a specific lab that was learning experience design workshop, a co-design workshop designed and run as part of this complex process for devoted to our targeted to the new hired lecturers and researchers of the university. It was the first education process devoted, dedicated to our professors. And the Federico Lab is based essentially on 3 steps. First of all, people of different domains, they work together and they brainstorm around the concept of a new wild courses, working on learning types and working on these just cards, if I can say, with a task and with a series of resources. After the learning types were selected, they built up a kind of balance between the 6 different the 6 different learning types: the acquisition, the collaboration, the discussion, the research, the practice, and the production. And that was made everything on an online platform that is whimsical, because it was made during the COVID period. At the end, they have a storyboard, and the storyboard allowed them to concept a way in which they can build up along a timeline their work. The second point in which Federico II is involved is this academy's ecosystem. The academy ecosystem now has multiple different companies with whom, in partnership, we are developing a special program. The first one was in 2016, Apple Developer Academy. And then now we have Aerotech Academy with Leonardo Group for aerospatial projects, Cisco Academy devoted to the networking bootcamp for certification and for people from computer science. We have the Cybersecurity Academy with Accenture. Then we had with Deloitte Digital Transformation and Industries Innovation Academy. We have Smart Infrastructure with Autostrade Italiane, that is the major player of auto routes in Italy. And then we have now 2 more academy: Make Napoli, that is a Medtronic master, and the Core Academy about conversion and resilience with KPGM, that will work about the new framework for digitalization of our public administration. Essentially, everything happened here in the University campus of Federico II. Is a new campus where we have only half of the building until now, where all this cluster is allocated. This is just one of the academy, this Apple Developer Academy. This is a non-profit initiative devoted in major part to the social impact. What we use for our, which kind of method? First of all, we use an iterative design thinking method. So we use to teach and to experiment with our students with an approach that is not the vertical teaching, but is an horizontal way of mentorship in which we are all learners, the way in which we identify the problems, we ideate solution, then we test with this iterative process. What does it mean, essentially? That we mix this with also a new framework. We work with Digital Promise, that is the education institution in the United States, with challenge-based learning. So how we can identify, I'm sorry, I'm hearing myself. I don't know if someone of you has the mic open. So challenge-based learning is our major
I think it's
frame.
Good now. Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Another aspect that we take care is the space for learning. The space for learning is, if I can say in a schematic way, distributed in 4 different learning spaces. The space to acquire, to have didactic lecture, but we take care also the way, the pods in which the people can exhibit, can show. We call in the metaphor caves, the boardrooms, where the students, they learn how to present to a group of experts their project, their solution. Then we have space for collaborate as seminar rooms, and then we have also space for individual work. Essentially, the academies, the ecosystem is based on these 3 main pillars. We build it up based on the Bloom taxonomy, learning goals, learning objectives, and we build it up also something really special. This is special for developers in specific, but I can say that we are scaling it in a broad way also to the other competencies. How the people can auto-assess their own competencies. What does it mean? That we don't give them grades, but they build this learning journey, and they build how along the way, along the 9 months, that in general is the time frame for an academy, they build their own path, and so how they are following along this. Another aspect that for the first time, we introduced the digital design inside our courses, and that was based essentially on 3 major disciplines, if I can say disciplines, or this main area that are the design thinking, as we have seen, an iterative process to ideate new solution, the critical thinking, that is the way in which we look in a critical way to the real of our domain, and the computational thinking. If I can say something, this is everything based on the idea that we need to keep in touch with our audience, with our target users, and we need to capture their interest. And in many different way, we have to analyze it. The third step is something that happened, is just an example that happened inside the peer, that is an incubator that we built up inside for our alumni in San Giovanni campus, and we worked with some NGOs around the world. I will talk just of one project that we made about the Barefoot College International. That is an NGO based in Tilonia in India, where we worked with the illiterate people, illiterate women from all over the world, from villages. And we worked with these 57 women to build the digitalization of part of their project, the project that they are involved in. And the project is Solar Mamas. In 6 months of training, these women, they learned how to become technician, able to build, to repair, and to maintain a solar system off-grid. And this is the scenario where they work. They are women from all over the world, as you have seen, from 35 to 50 years old. And our students, they built up a collaborative design workshop with them that in some cases they are not able to write. So just working with form, with the buttons, with this, they build up their flow, their workflow. And the workflow is about how they can manage this work of solar system. And then back in Italy, the students, they developed the solution implementation. But the most important thing was that we were back in India, where we made the user testing with them, with the women that designed the solution. And that was part of the empowering of their work. And we dedicated a lot of time to the analyzing and testing the work with them. I go really fast because I would like to leave some space to Q&A. But that was the major question, how we can test before the implementation of the final solution with them. And the major thing that we learned with this fantastic team, that was a team of 8 developers from all over the world. We have Italians, but we have also a Mexican. We have one from UK and one from Scotland, etc. And what we assume at the end was the illiterate of the 21st century will not be the ones who are not able to write and read, as Alvin Toffler wrote, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. I asked to the students once per year at the end of our process of the academy, how they can represent in a free form their journey. And so everyone on just a paper, a piece of paper, they make this infographic, if I can say, that represent their journey. So it's not an analytics, but it's more a semantic or a sentimental analysis. But I would like to focus on just one of this draw that was made by the first classified and the selection process for our academy. And I would like just to focus on the process line. The process that his name was Milan Jovic, he was from Belgrade. He had a confusion in mind, but he was already a great coder, a great student of computer science. And he was the first classified on 4,000 people that applied for the 400 places in the academy. And as you can see in the process line, you have this confusion that more and more clarify the components. At the end, he arrived to this hierarchy process where you have always multiple possible solutions. So maybe that was my experience with the illiterate people that we met in India, is that we have to unlearn the design that we use. We have to unlearn the methods that we use. And this is the way to be really adaptable to the new change. Thank you. I hope I have time.
Pietro, thank you very much for this interesting talk around the design turn. But undoubtedly, there will be questions. So I would like the audience to step in with questions. We will also look every now and then at the chat, and you can raise your hand. And I see a first question by Katja Tuma. Katja, please.
No, there was clapping, was hands.
Oh, okay.
It's okay.
I think I have a question. The story concerning design thinking and how you do that is clear to me, but I was interested in a number of more practical aspects. So first of all, what are the disciplines involved in this? Is that across the university, it's certain specific departments where it is strong? So that would help to have a clear idea on that.
I don't know if I have to respond to answer to each question or if I collect more and then I can answer.
Go ahead.
So essentially, the ecosystem of academies is based around the in computer science department of engineer. Okay, but mentors, teachers are collected with the public call in general. So we have either mentors and teachers as professional people from the real world, I mean, and people as me that are more university teachers. So the cluster of academies is around anyway computer science and informatics, essentially, with this add from the design approach.
Okay, and the projects, are they credit bearing for the students? Because this is a very different way of teaching. So is it extracurricular or is it just part of the normal curriculum?
In general, in the academies, we have solutions for people that they are not university students, that they would like just to get some competencies, or people that they are master students, for example, and they got credits with the system, or people that are already graduates. If I can say, each academy is a bit different. I mean, in Apple, it works like this. We have all the three different students. We have people also as people from they have job, people of 50 years old that they would like to become developers. Or in Cisco, we ask for a computer science bachelor. Or in Deloitte, we have people already with a Master of Science.
Anna has a question. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Pietro, for the nice talk. I will mute myself. Yes, I have a question because I was very interested in the last part of your talk, in which you described the project with the women in India and maybe also other countries, which looks a bit like the education that we have here at the VU, where we involve students in an ICT for Development project, which is maybe similar to what you're doing there. And I was very interested in actually what we experience here as difficulty is to make it so we do a project and to make it sustainable, because students, they graduate and then suddenly the project stops after 1 year, and you actually want to keep that relationship with the community. Do you have some tips for us or some experience on that?
No, this is the real question. I made this presentation, you know, this project and the peer in a way is under NDA. So I really was able to show you just a part of the project. For sure, the point is these three pillars: the university and with teams of students, the company, and the NGO, because that allow us to use, if I can say, the same technology. that was the first point. The second point is that was pre-COVID. The COVID downgrade these peer activities, because in distance it's really difficult to establish a real relationship with the NGO. We have also the Barefoot College is an NGO that works worldwide, but we work also in Malawi or in South Africa, also in Italy, in Milano, with a specific NGO that works on really target group as specific disability. We work with special spinal trauma problems, people that are affected of this. But the point was that was a pre-COVID approach. Now we are trying to scale up this, directly forming people that are able to go and to help these NGOs to digitalize their process. So one way is open your mind in a way that we can also, and I think that was my choice,